Today we're going to see just how quick a maxed out Ferrari is in F1 24 career mode. What does it feel like to drive, and can it do Austria in under 60 seconds? But first of all, this all begins with starting a fresh career mode with Ferrari, and more importantly though, giving ourselves unlimited R&D points to actually make this possible in under a season. So rejoice, Tifosi, your savior is here, because
I'm the Messiah. I am
career.
Jesus.
I hope you boys and girls are ready. I don't just want 100%, I want 200%. From this point onwards, this team is ascending. We are ascending to a higher level than the rest of the
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So yeah, as you can clearly tell, the story of us going from the start of the career mode to a maxed out Ferrari is not a straight line path. There are a few bumps along the road, and we're going to tell you about them right now. So the first one was, even though we do have 100 million R&D points, we can only purchase a certain number of upgrades at a time. Obviously, at the moment, some are completely locked to us because we don't have the recognition in the Ferrari team versus Leclerc. Obviously, for the first time properly now in a career mode though, your AI teammate can make purchases. So the R&D that I've got is also available to Leclerc. So later down the line in this season, he actually ended up doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it came to upgrading, and boy did we need a lot of upgrading, because we started off this career save with Leclerc coming P6 and the career Jesus in P9. But we've just purchased a load of upgrades, so that should definitely... This team, man. This team. I don't think I have it in me, lads. I might be already done. I might be already done. How are we getting 4 failures? So we have to repurchase those very first upgrades we bought with this unlimited R&D, and things don't get better because Saudi Arabia... Bruh. Oh... We are actually in the bin. We are mudded. So we continue our miserable lives right now, just purchasing upgrades after upgrades and seemingly getting no better. But word has gotten out about the money, the resources we bring to this team. So Red Bull started sniffing around. In fact, even Aston Martin started sniffing around. Multiple teams came to us with secret meetings, but we have got one thing in our mind, one mission, and it's to get Ferrari to the top, maxed out. So we bat away all those talks, and look how many upgrades Leclerc's doing now. It's ridiculous. Surely, with this many upgrades, things have got to get better. Well, if you look at the R&D chart, 5 races in, all these purchases, we've not even made a dent. We've not made a dent on the R&D chart. How is this actually possible? I had to take some proactive action 2 races later. I stepped in and actually did the race at Imola. We won the race. It's a 1-2 for Ferrari, and hopefully that is going to give the simulation of what's going on for the rest of the season a bit of a kickstart, because up until now it's been pain, it's been misery, it's been embarrassment. But it takes a long while, you know. So many upgrades to the point where you can scroll up to 2 different pages of the upgrades, and it takes all the way past the halfway mark of the season to the bloody Hungarian Grand Prix for the first time for Ferrari to be on top on the R&D chart. Just deep that for a second. I've got 100 million R&D points, and it took till the Hungarian Grand Prix for this team to get to the top of the R&D chart. Actually ridiculous. But to us, a joke. I can't even blame the team. It's the mechanics of the game this year with the way recognition works. I just can't contribute a lot to the team. And also with the specialists, it means there are a lot of failures, because the specialists, you need to build those levels up to actually reduce failures, to speed up upgrades as well. So if anything, so far, this experiment and video is serving as a great example of why you definitely need to upgrade and try and build those relationships with your specialists, because otherwise you are absolutely just shackled in terms of the progress you can actually make. But we are now finally making a bit of progress. For the first time then, into the Dutch Grand Prix, we get a bit of a lead, a bit of a gap to everyone. So this is the time where we are surely going to start absolutely cooking, getting those 1-2s going. But yeah, no, the game thinks that we should be in a rivalry with Logan Sargent. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Best team on the grid, getting those upgrades in finally, getting that advantage, and we're in a rivalry with Logan Sargent. And the worst part is we lost the rivalry because I'm simulating through the season, and the game hates that. So I have to live with that. I have to live with the fact we've lost the rivalry to Sargent, and I don't think I can live with that. So I'm going to go jump off the nearest bridge.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And if things couldn't get even worse, somehow Red Bull, as an AI team, have re-overtaken us in the R&D chart. Now, I'm not being funny. How are they matching our R&D levels? How is that even possible? The Red Bull catering team can't be that bloody strong. So about 2/3 of the way into this entire career save, I basically started to think, the way I've got 100 million R&D points, I think it's glitched and given every AI team 100 million. Because if you look back at the R&D chart, the AI are actually, or the entire AI grid, they're all keeping up with us really well. So I think every team here on the grid has unlimited R&D, or has a lot of R&D, because usually when I do these experiments on previous F1 games, we're flying. We've like left everyone in the dust after like 5 rounds, but with this many upgrades flying through the activity timeline, we've even got enough R&D to completely adapt the regulation change. They're keeping up with this. This entire grid is getting better. And yeah, we're leaping forwards now, I guess, at the Mexican Grand Prix by the entire field spread. But up until this point, they've done it incredibly well. So odd glitches aside with the AI teams, we continue on, we press on. We're now at the Brazilian Grand Prix in Season 1. And to be fair, now, things are looking very, very good. We're nearly at a maxed out car now, and Ferrari lead the Constructors' Championship for the first time, 7 points ahead of Red Bull. So it took a long while, a lot longer than I thought it was going to in a single season, but now the team is getting to a point where we are now able to simulate and beat the teams around us. We're now finally beating Logan Sargent in a rivalry, you'll be happy to know. And with this final diffuser side fence upgrade from Leclerc, ahead of the final race of the season for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, in a real poetic way, we have maxed out the car. There is only 2 upgrades that we can't do on the engine side because that is controlled by the computer, and if you look at the dates, that's going to happen like 2/3 into Season 2, so that's like a huge amount of time to wait. So in terms of what we can do ourselves right now, we have got a fully maxed out aero department, chassis department, engine and durability department. This is a Ferrari maxed out car, and this is what it actually looks like on the R&D chart going into the next season, with obviously having adapted all the parts that were in the regulation. You can see now with the R&D chart zoomed in how big of a gulf and advantage we have. We pretty much have 2 times worth the fuel spread of McLaren down to Alpine ahead of McLaren, if you know what I mean. So you can fit that fuel spread in twice and then get to our performance as we max out at just under 1,100 performance points, whatever the hell that means. So that was the story of how we got this Ferrari maxed out on the R&D, but it's now time to hand the reins over to my AI teammate in this career save, Leclerc, to see if this car can do Austria in under 60 seconds. I don't actually know where this came from fully, but this is turned into the litmus test, you know, for the many years that I've been doing this sort of experiment on this channel, all the way back to, like, I think F1 2018, I want to say, or 2017 maybe. It's become the litmus test for us of how quick a maxed out car is in comparison to other F1 games or other teams when we used to do this with multiple teams, of course, but in recent years we always did it with a My Team car. But now we're back to seeing how the traditional official F1 teams do. And let's see, I mean, the lap itself has not looked too spectacular in terms of anything standing out, but it does look very planted and a very calm lap from Leclerc, and it's a 1:01.247. It's close to 60 seconds, but it's not quite there. So we ran it back. We're going to try it again. Oh, 1:01.422. It's not quite good enough. Let's try it again.
Not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough.
After multiple attempts of redoing this sim, I think that's the best we're going to get. We're going to have to accept that. That's not bad. 9/10 of a second off 60 seconds around Austria. That's pretty damn good. I even tried, maybe delusionally, to give Leclerc a tow. So I actually drove out, waited for him to be on a flying lap, and tried to give him a bit of a slipstream in Sector 1, the run up the hill, and that flopped harder than any of the simulation time, so that was complete failure. So now, though, finally, it's time for us to test out how this maxed out Ferrari drives. We're kind of rewinding time a bit and going back to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for a 5-lap race around here. Lights out, and away we go from last place on the grid. The start wasn't anything amazing. I was quite surprised how lackluster the getaway was. I was expecting to really out-traction the Saubers, like absolutely. But then into the corners, it very quickly became apparent how much braking power I had, how from far back I can dive this car. And the nose is so pointy, the downforce is there, and from last place on this grid, 5 laps is not a lot of time, but we are going to aim to try and get to first place, or near enough. Of course, there is still the issue maybe of the speed in a straight line with ERS. Even with this maxed out car, it felt like it wasn't particularly punchy in a straight line. Like I thought it would have been, yeah, like I said, off the line a lot quicker. But in the corners, it was really apparent how, like, good the maxed out car was. And to be fair, by the midway point of lap 2, I'm already passing, well, Leclerc's actually surprisingly doing very badly in a maxed out Ferrari to be stuck in this train. But we've caught up. We're already in the points. We've gone from P20 to P8 we're in less than 2 laps. That's pretty ridiculous. And we literally spooked that Williams off the road in the previous clip as we now barrel it down the inside of the Alpine. But look at this, Albon, he got so scared at the utter speed that we had. And every move we could make in the corners was just, it looked a bit comically silly. Like of how quick things got stopped, how quickly we could turn in, which also is a bit to do with the handling model, to be fair, as well, in conjunction with the maxed out car, as we now watch Stroll battling Hamilton for a podium spot. We're setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix, no surprise there. It's the second last lap of the race now, lap 4, and we're up to P5. You can see there's a bit of a sizable gap after Stroll. So we're going to definitely get up to P3 as we're going to make an easy move on Hamilton here and then look to overtake Lance Stroll on the straight ahead of us. But then P2 to P1 could be a little bit touch and go. We're going to push as hard as we can, obviously, into the last lap. With DRS was definitely very powerful with the maxed out car there. We flew by Lance Stroll. And then on the last lap here, I actually can't shake Stroll, which just shows how powerful the ERS and DRS training is at the moment on the game. But Alonso and Norris having a scrap and a half on the last lap for P1 and 2. But then into the final sector, Alonso with a massive lockup makes a mistake, and that's going to give us the opportunity to maybe get up to second place. But how about this? Unbelievable. Even in this different career mode save with a maxed out Ferrari, I'm going to end up getting a 1-2 with my actual career mode save teammate Lando Norris there in the McLaren. Funny how things work out, but we are the Constructors' Champion for Ferrari. Our work here is done, but that is what a maxed out Ferrari looks like. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what team you want to see me do next and show a maxed out car for. If you have enjoyed this one, hit the like button. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.